Good morning, everyone. Does something look different back here to you all? Something is different. Let me take you in the pasture and show you what we've been up to. Look at my little herd of goats coming to say good morning. They've already been fed and the water's been topped off. But do you notice something different here? In 3 months, guys, we have 4 mamas delivering babies. Guess what we needed more of? Shelters. So we decided to do a quick pallet addition to our already existing pallet goat shelters. No, they're not pretty. They're not going to win any beauty awards, but that's not the purpose. This is to house and protect our goats. And this is what we came up with. I got a sun in my eye. That's not good. And basically, this second shelter is the small one compared to the 2 end shelters. We made this one bigger because we do believe we have 2 mamas at least carrying multiples, and Bella could surprise us with multiples, and so could Latte, but so far they're not really looking as big as Oreo and Nala. These 2, we think they have multiples. So we had this tin on this roof, and it was overlapped by almost 3 foot. So I said to Jim, I said, let's take the roof off of this shelter entirely. So we did. We repositioned it, and we decided to keep a hard slope for rain runoff because that's important. We don't want any puddling happening in our goat shelters. And what we ended up with, and again, it was just what we had sitting around. As you know, we keep a couple extra pallets here. We're always doing projects. So when the shed was all framed in and dried in, which is right there, you can see it right there, we decided it's time. We got 3 months. We've got to get more goat shelters done. So this is our first step towards housing more goats. And as you can see, we used, there's just 1 pallet that separates the 2 shelters. So we can have 1 mama in here with babies. And we have probably 2 mamas in here with babies. And this is only to keep them for birthing and nighttime sleeping and rain. And we just needed more room because the other big shelter was full. Every time it rained, everybody climbs in there except for Bella. So the initial thing was this is going to be Bella's shelter, but guess what's happened? Everybody likes this new shelter. Why? We don't know. It's maybe because it's more open. Because as you can see, the doorway here is very open. There is no floor in it. So knowing we were going to build another shelter, I've been adding wasted hay to the ground here to build the ground up. And guess what? Everybody likes this shelter. You see there's plenty of ventilation along here. There's ventilation along here. And this is only a partial wall for now. Again, it was a quick, let's get it up. We got rain coming, and it worked wonderful. It gave Bella a, oops, I can't back up, look. She's right behind me. It gave Bella another option for sheltering because she's the low girl on the totem pole here. We got Miss Queen Oreo. She's the boss. And what she says goes, and they'll fight it out until she wins. She's very persistent. So we need to have options for these girls, and this just gives them one more option. They all seem to be laying in here at night together. They do sleep together at night, so bigger shelters are necessary. But we not sure who's sleeping in here at night, but I'm thinking it's her and her mama, that's Simba. And Nala, I think, have claimed this because they go in here when it's raining. So those 2 will run in here when it's raining. They hang out together, but they don't share it with Bella. So Bella got an upgrade. And if these guys, Latte, Oreo, are in here, because they're inseparable. Latte and Oreo are inseparable. They've been together for years, and so they stay together. If that fails, then we got this shelter for Bella to get in. And this shelter's getting shorter and shorter because the deep bedding, but it's high and dry and lots of bedding. This actually puts out some heat at night, which is exactly the reason we do deep bedding, because we're in a very, very damp area. So when the temperatures drop, it's not damp, it's not just cold, it's a wet cold, and this is pushing heat up, so that helps heat this area. Now, the reason they may not be using this area is because it might be too warm for them. These goats put off a ton of heat, and as you can see, we had some cold nights. We went down to 30 degrees, which is nothing to a goat, but we have a soft heart, so I put my feed bags up to block this, but this is open for ventilation, and there's a little ventilation in this corner, plus the doors are always open. There are no doors, so our goats get to pick and choose if they want to be out in the weather. There's my little troublemaker. So this has been a quick, let's throw it together, slap it together, and we've had some really good gusts of wind with this one storm that came through, and the roof has stayed on, but we did screw the roof down. And just to give you an idea, it's basically pallets. What we did here, we butted this pallet up to this wall and screwed it in. Then we screwed the shorter pallet to this pallet, because again, we want that slope for rain runoff. And then the rest are just interscrewed to each other. And they're freestanding walls, which I can show you. Watch this. Look at that. Freestanding walls. But it's working. And then what we did is we made roof joists. As you can see, these are roof joists. These are out of just some 2x4s we had sitting around. It might even be from one of our 2x6s. And we just hammered a couple, screwed a couple together to extend the length. So this is one whole long roof panel, roof support. And then we put these pieces of wood across to screw the actual tin to. And I think that took the longest. That actually took us a good amount of time to get this entire roof done. And because this only had so much overhang, we ended up double layering roof right here. So we had some shorter pieces. Actually, we cut one. So we had to cut one panel, and we still have panels left, guys. But we cut one panel to tuck in with this panel to extend the roof, so we had a bigger shelter. And as you can see, now in this shelter, because again, we get so much rain here, we decided to leave a tote full of hay. And then every shelter now has a bucket that we fill every day with hay. So these girls, because they're going into their, they've completed 2 full months of pregnancy, no heat cycles. So we're really confident they're definitely pregnant and not just getting chunky monkeys. And they're going to require more food. So by increasing shelter space, we increase the ability to store more food actually in shelters. So they have more children. The top's not good enough. We got to get the hay from the bottom. But keep in mind, this morning this was still full. So I picked it up and I flipped the hay upside down. She's still digging to the bottom. They're so silly. And then we still have our hay buckets out here for sunny days. When we hear rain's coming, tomorrow it's going to rain, these buckets will go into a shelter. That way they have hay. If they're not coming out to get to the hay, they have hay in their shelters. And then during the day, we will refill them because, again, we got pregnant mamas, and pregnant mamas are hungry mamas. She's eating hay that is in the wall frame. Now, as we've had these goats over a year now, probably closer to almost a year and a half. We got them, we moved here 2 Mays ago. So we're here a year and a half. We got the goats that June. So we were here a month and we got goats, which was crazy. Way too fast, but we've made it work. And We've learned so much about goat care since we've been here that we feel now we can start sharing some of what we've learned. One of the major things is never feed your goat on the ground. Goats are designed to be browsers, which means they're going to eat, let's see, they're going to eat stuff like this. This thicket here, they cleared that. They will not touch stuff on the ground. Even if it's the only green stuff left in this pasture, they will not touch it. They seem to have a built-in sense of where the parasites come from. And parasites come from the ground up. So to keep your goats' parasite loads down, all goats have parasites. So whether they're dewormed or not, they still have a parasite load on them. It's whether or not you get major flare-ups. And if you get a major flare-up, it can kill your goats. So we feed everything up off the ground that we can, to include their nightly grains. And then we also deworm them with an herbal dewormer. We started using Molly's Herbals, which you can get on, I Googled it, so I found it through Google. So, and it did work really, really good because we got Formula 1 and Formula 2. Formula 1 was let's kick some butt and get the initial worm load down. The maintenance is, oh, did you see that? I hate when she does it when she's pregnant. And there goes the next one. These are high, guys. They're not little low pedestals. Just to give you an example, that's the little one. That's the high one. She's falling asleep. Look at her eyes. She's standing there falling asleep. Oh my gosh. They're so cute. So anyway, once you take and you hit them hard with the Formula 1, then you go to the Formula 2 to maintain them. And Latte needs a Formula 1 hit, and you can tell by checking their eyelids. There's a lot on the internet about how to check your goat's FAMACHA score, and we do that. And the other thing is hoof maintenance. Hoof maintenance in a wet area like we have, or if you're having a really wet winter where you're at, you need to maintain the goat hooves. It's very important to their overall health, especially when they're pregnant. Now, we keep a couple cinder blocks. Those are cinder blocks right there. If they want to jump up and down off of them, it actually, yeah, there's a good example. Bella's going to show us how we use our cinder blocks, right, Belle? So they'll climb on and off them, which actually helps trim down their nails a little bit. It's not foolproof, though, so you still have to maintain them. Somebody's in a lovey mood. Are you in a lovey? Look at that belly. Oh, my gosh. Somebody's in a lovey mood. Somebody's trying to cough up some cud. Goodness, is it stuck? Goodness. But I wanted to show you, just get see if we can get a roof shot. And you see that roof, how nice and hard angled it is. Now, at some point, we might actually put a rain gutter up here and catch this into a different 55-gallon barrel, because that would double my water storage for the goats alone. So we're always thinking, how can we get more water stored? Because when the rain stops, it gets real close at times of not having enough for everything here on the homestead. So the more we can store, the more we can use, and it's always a win situation. Are you done napping? Are you done napping, Missy? Huh? She still has quite the udder going on. It's not near as big as it was, but we caught Carmela nursing, so I might have to wean her, and that's going to be hard. But she's pregnant, so she needs to stop nursing. Nala and Simba, Nala's already dried out. Simba stopped nursing, so we're good there. This is the one who spoiled her baby. All right, guys, thought I'd share another upgrade here on the homestead. More room for more goats. And yes, we have more coming. So God bless, take care, and hope you had a Merry Christmas. Bye-bye.